Level 1. The bag. You've never robbed anyone. Not really. You've never held a weapon, never raised your voice, never made a single person afraid. You're going to stand on a quiet street at 3 in the morning, and a machine is going to hand you more money than you make in a month. And the fact that it feels like nothing, is exactly why they'll come for you harder than they'd ever come for a man with a gun. It starts with math. Soul shows it to you the way an older man shows you a card trick. Slow, patient, letting you lean in close. He doesn't pitch. He doesn't push. He just turns his phone toward you and lets the numbers do the talking. One machine. One night. $15,000, sometimes twice that, sitting behind a thin steel door, waiting for someone with the nerve to be there when it opens. He taps that heavy ring against the table, once, and asks if you'd like to hold a bag. You say yes before you understand what you've said yes to. That's how it works. Not a decision, a drift. A yes that feels smaller than it actually is. By the time you feel its real weight, you are already carrying it. The plan isn't yours. Somebody far above you built the part that matters, and your part is almost embarrassingly simple. Be there, be calm, hold the bag, walk away. You're not the brains. You're not even the hands, not the ones that count. You're the courier. You keep telling yourself that one word. Courier. It sounds like a job. It sounds like something you could write on a form. Marcus is with you. He came up the same way you did. Same night, same man. The same phone turned toward him in the same dim room. He's louder than you. He talks to fill the quiet, cracks jokes nobody laughs at, checks his reflection in the dark car window, and pretends he isn't. He's scared too. You can tell, because he won't stop moving. The car idles across the street. The lookout doesn't talk. He watches the road, and he watches you, and you understand, dimly, that he is watching you the way you'd watch a tool you didn't trust yet. Then it's time. You cross the empty street. Your shoes are loud on the concrete, louder than they've ever been, like the whole city is listening through the pavement. The machine glows blue in the dark, patient, ordinary, the same kind of machine you've used 100 times to pull out $40 for gas. It doesn't know the difference tonight. It was never built to. And then it begins. The mechanism inside whirs. Something clicks, and the money starts to come, not counted out, not politely dispensed, but pushed, shoved, thrown, 20s stacking and spilling faster than your hands can catch them. You open the bag, and it pours in like water. 15,000. 20. Your heart is a fist against your ribs. Your mouth goes dry. You have never in your life held this much of anything. 90 seconds. That's all it takes. 90 seconds, and you're walking back across the street with a bag that could change everything, and the machine behind you falls quiet again, like nothing ever happened at all. You keep a few hundred. That's your cut, this first time. A few $100s for the worst-kept promise you'll ever make yourself. That this is the only time. That this is just to see how it feels, that you're only the courier. You go home. June is asleep, or half asleep, and she stirs when you slide in beside her, and she asks where you've been, and you say work, and it isn't even a lie you have to think about. She doesn't push. She's warm in the dark, and for a moment the money in the other room feels like it belongs to a different man, a man you'll never actually have to be. You did it. You got away. Nobody stopped you. Nobody even looked. Here's what you don't know yet. The machine had a camera. So did the ATM across the street, and the pharmacy on the corner, and the doorbell 3 houses down that nobody ever thinks about. They got your walk, the specific way you carry your weight, the slight lean, the rhythm no hood can hide. They got your shoes. They got the exact tilt of your head in the second you glanced back to check if anyone was watching. You were watching for a person, a cop, a witness, a face in a window. Nobody told you the witness was already recording, that it never blinks, never sleeps, and never forgets a single frame. It has already turned your one clean night into a file. You think you got away clean. The cameras already have you. Level 2. The pull. The easy money is the first thing to die. You go back to the quiet machines, the ones that used to open like a flower, and they don't answer anymore. Somebody patched them. The software that whispered so sweetly a month ago has gone silent. And standing there in the dark with an empty bag, you feel the first cold truth of this business. Nothing good lasts, and the door that let you in is always the first thing they weld shut. So you go back to Soul. He isn't surprised. He's never surprised. He slides you a photo of a squat little cash machine bolted to the front of a gas station out past the highway, and he tells you the soft way is over. No more standing politely at a screen. Now you take the whole thing, the machine, the vault, the money still inside it, torn out of the wall, and carried away before the town wakes up. He says it the way a man reads a weather report. You're the one whose hands go cold. This isn't slipping a card into a slot anymore. This is noise, weight, and witnesses. Marcus loves it. Of course he does. Where you see a wall you'd have to tear apart, he sees a payday with the wrapping already off. He's talking too fast, laughing too loud, already picturing the number, because one good pull isn't a few $100s anymore. One good pull is 50,000, sometimes 80. The whole machine, stuffed and heavy, and all you have to do is be strong enough and stupid enough to take it. The truck isn't yours. You don't ask whose it is. It's a flatbed with a chain in the back and no plates that matter. And at 4 in the morning it rolls up to a dark storefront with its lights off. You loop the chain the way Sol showed you. You climb back in. And when the engine screams and the slack goes tight, the whole night changes shape. The machine doesn't want to come. For one long second, nothing moves. The chain singing, the truck straining, and then the wall gives with a sound like a bone breaking, and the whole ugly steel box tears free and drags across the concrete behind you, throwing sparks. The alarm goes off a heartbeat too late, shrieking into an empty parking lot with nobody to hear it, and you are already hauling the thing up onto the bed with your heart trying to climb out of your mouth. 3 minutes. That's the whole religion now. In and gone in 3 minutes, before a single set of headlights can round the corner. Speed is safety, you tell yourself. Speed is the only thing that keeps you free. You believe it because you have to. And the money is a different animal now. You crack the machine open somewhere quiet, and it's more cash than you've ever seen in one place. A brick of it, warm from your own adrenaline. You feel enormous. You feel like the smartest man in a sleeping city. You start to think the walls were never really walls at all. Then you come home with a cut across your knuckles you can't explain. June sees it before you've got your jacket off. She sees the split skin, the way you won't meet her eyes, the roll of cash you're too careless to hide anymore. She doesn't yell. That's the worst part. She just asks you, quiet, what you've gotten into. And the fear in her voice isn't fear of you. It's fear of losing you. She has watched you turn into someone she has to guess at, and it terrifies her. You tell her it's nothing. You tell her it's work. And for the first time, the lie doesn't slide out clean. It catches on something in your throat, and you both hear it catch. You tell yourself she'll come around. You tell yourself the money will make it right. You are wrong about both, but that's a bill that comes due later. Here's what you're moving too fast to notice. Ripping a machine out of a wall doesn't erase you. It signs your name in a language you can't read. That gouge in the storefront is a fingerprint. That long silver scar the machine dragged down the asphalt is an arrow pointing straight to where you went. The truck you didn't ask about crossed 40 traffic cameras between the lot and the drop, and every single one of them kept a copy. A machine that size doesn't vanish. It leaves a wound in the street. You left a debris trail a first-week rookie could follow home. You thought speed made you a ghost. It just meant you did more damage in less time. You didn't outrun the evidence tonight. You built a monument to it. Level 3. The uniform. Ram raiding is a young man's way to die in a cell. You know this now because you watched it happen. Not to you. To Marcus. He was the loud one. The one who laughed too hard and always stayed reckless long after you'd gone quiet. And all the wreckage that kind of work leaves behind. The torn walls. The long scar down the road. The trucks on 40 cameras. Has to land on somebody eventually. It landed on him first. One morning he was simply gone. A name on a news crawl. A mugshot. A number. You don't say his name out loud anymore. But you think it every time you're tempted to be fast. So you decide to be smart instead. You go back to Sol, and this time you don't ask him for a target. You ask him for a way to stop breaking things. And Sol, who has an answer for everything, smiles the way he does and tells you the oldest secret in the business. The easiest way into a locked room is to be the man they hired to unlock it. He gets you a key. Not a stolen one, an issued one. A service key, the kind the technicians carry. The men who show up in daylight to refill the machines and check the receipts. He gets you a vest, high visibility yellow, the exact shade that makes a person invisible. He gets you a clipboard and a schedule that says which machines were loaded this morning and are sitting fat and full, waiting for their next customer. And just like that, you stop being a criminal in the dark. You become a workman in the sun. The real genius of it isn't the key. It's that a uniform tells people what to think before they can think it. The first time, your hands shake so badly you can barely hold the clipboard. You walk up to a machine in the middle of a busy afternoon, in a shopping plaza, with children and shoppers and a security guard 40 feet away, and you open it the way a man who is allowed to opens it. And nobody looks at you. Nobody looks at you at all. That's the part that changes you. There's a woman waiting behind you to use the machine. She's patient. She's polite. She even says take your time, and you say thank you. And you stand there in your yellow vest, emptying a machine of everything it holds while she waits her turn to withdraw $60. When you finish, you nod at her, and she nods back, and she thanks you. Thanks you for your service. You walk away with more money in a work bag than she will see all year, and the sun is shining, and not one single alarm goes off anywhere in the world. No sparks, no chains, no shrieking into an empty lot, no cut knuckles, no racing heart. Just a man in a uniform doing what a man in a uniform does. It is the safest you have ever felt in your life. The uniform is a spell. You start to believe you could wear it anywhere. And you do wear it home, in a way. Because the same trick that works on the woman at the machine works on June, and you know it, and you use it. You come in calm and clean and ordinary, and you tell her the ordinary things, and she wants so badly to believe you that she almost does. But she isn't a stranger in a plaza. She's the one person who knew you before the vest, and every day the man in the yellow vest gets a little more real and the man she loved gets a little harder to find. She stops asking where you've been. That isn't peace. That's her giving up on an answer. The distance between you isn't loud. It's just wider every morning and quieter. You tell yourself you'll take it off soon. You never take it off. Here's what the uniform doesn't tell you. That key wasn't yours. It was Dale Foster's, a name in a system with a record. Every machine you touched logged the second under his credentials. Every swipe signing his name into a file, not yours. So when it comes apart, the knock comes for Dale first. An innocent man cuffed at dawn for machines he never touched. For a few days the name takes the fall, and you are free. But a name is not a face. The moment Dale proves he was elsewhere, all that daylight footage is still there. Your walk, your build, a bald man in a yellow vest that 100 people watched and one woman thanked. You thought a borrowed name made you invisible. It bought you time. You didn't outsmart the system tonight. You signed for your own arrest in someone else's hand. Level 4. The collapse. At the top, you stop touching money at all. You've come a long way from the man who stood at a machine with a bag. You don't stand at machines anymore. You don't drive trucks or wear vests or count bills still warm from the slot. You've become something cleaner and colder than any of that. You sell the thing itself, the method, the access, the hard-won knowledge of how it's done, to people you will never meet, in cities you will never see, who wire you money you will never touch with your hands. It moves through accounts with names that aren't names, companies that exist only as paper, numbers that cross borders while you sleep. You are 3 people removed from every crime now, and then 4, and then 5. You never see a machine get hit. You never see a wall come down. You just wake up richer, the way weather happens to a field. And for one bright season, you are a ghost. Nobody can touch a man who never touches anything. There's no cash in your hands, no tool with your prints, no camera that ever caught your face doing the deed, because you stopped doing the deed a long time ago. You made yourself into an idea, and ideas don't get arrested. You are the safest you have ever been, and the least real. You start to believe you have finally, actually gotten away, not for a night, not for a season, but for good. The apartment is quiet now. June's chair is empty. Her side of the closet is bare. She didn't scream, and she didn't slam the door. She just got smaller and quieter until one day the space where she used to be was the loudest thing in the room. You told yourself the money would make it right. The money is enormous now, and it has made nothing right, and there is no one left to lie to but yourself. The quiet you wanted turns out to be the punishment. Here is how it actually ends. Not with a chase, not with a gun, with a woman you will never meet, sitting at a desk, looking at a screen. She's an analyst. She watches patterns for a living, and one afternoon a pattern doesn't sit right. A set of access logs that match no schedule, a shape in the data that shouldn't be there. She doesn't know your name. She doesn't know your face. She will never know she was the one who started it. She just flags the thing that's wrong, passes it up, and goes to lunch. And that flag lands on a desk that belongs to a man whose whole job is pulling a single loose thread until the entire thing comes apart. He doesn't rush. He starts with the logs, and the logs lead to the schedules, and the schedules lead to names, and the names lead to a crew, and the crew, desperate, cornered, offered a lighter sentence, leads to the next name up, and the next, until the arrows all point at one box in the middle of a chart. Your box. And then there's Soul. Soul, who has an answer for everything. Soul, who was never surprised, who slid you the phone and tapped the ring and handed you the vest. When they came for him, and they always come for the ones who've lasted longest, he had an answer for that too. He wore a wire to a quiet lunch and let you talk, warm and easy, the way he taught you, while every word you said walked itself into a file. The man who brought you in was the last thing that took you down. Somewhere in a city you'll never visit, a crew you sold to is already on a screen. A news clip, a mugshot, a number. You'd know that feeling anywhere. Marcus knew it first. The knock comes at dawn. It always comes at dawn. You open the door, and there's a man in a plain jacket who says your name like he already knows the whole story, because he does. He sits across from you at your own kitchen table, in the chair where June used to sit, and there is no hostility in him at all. That's the part that finishes you. He isn't angry. He's just finished. The dawn fills a kitchen that used to be a home. Here's what you understand. Too late, at that table. Every level made you feel further from the crime. And every single level put you closer to this chair. You didn't outrun the witnesses. You manufactured them. Every crew, every cooperator, every man who ever knew your name. You made each one yourself, and you handed them the truth, and one by one they gave it back. The machine gave you everything, and then it gave you away. If this held you all the way to the end, leave a like and subscribe, because the next life peaks even harder than this one.